What is up, everybody? On a cheeky little mission here to try and secure the bag, Jordan 12 cherries. I'm gonna hope that they're just sitting in foot patrol. That's gonna be the first port of call, mainly because it's the closest place to where I've just finished work. So let's see if they've got them sitting in foot patrol. Thanks for your help. See ya. Cool, bye. And there we go. Easy cop. Yeah, it's awesome to be back in a time where cool sneakers are sitting again. If you miss out on the drop, it's okay. You can pop in on a Tuesday the following week and still find them sitting. So yeah, let's get into this review. Yep, come on, just be yourself. The Air Jordan 12 is a little bit of a polarizer. Some people, like me, really love the shoe. For other people, it's a little bit of a miss. Something about the shape, the construction, maybe the weight, just puts people off a little bit. For me, they hold a soft spot in my heart because this was actually my first pair of Jordans. Not this particular shoe right here, but the Playoff 12s from '97. My dad bought me the Playoffs, he bought himself the black and red pair, and I can actually remember going to a party as a 13-year-old wearing on one foot the black and red pair and on the other foot a black and white pair, thinking I was the man. Who would have thought that 25 odd years later that would actually be a thing? In terms of the box, you've got this retro throwback nostalgic box reminiscent of the boxes that we had back in the day. The cardboard lid with the swoosh, the red and the black, the marketing spiel down the side. It's a solid box with the right dimensions. These shoes have been nicknamed the Air Jordan 12 Cherry, but back in '97 when these came out, they weren't called the Cherries. The Cherry colorway, I think, was first given to the low 11s back in like the early 2000s. And since then, all subsequent models that sport the same kind of colorway have adopted alongside it this Cherry nickname. The white and red 12s, as they were known then, were part of 5 original colorways of the Air Jordan 12 that dropped in '97. You had the black and white or the taxis, the obsidian 12s, the black and red pair that would later become known as the flu games, the black and white playoffs, and the white and red pair here, the cherries. So I'm only at this point missing the taxis, and given that I have 4 out of the 5 original colorways, I think I need to get my hands on the taxis. I've never owned a pair of the cherry 12s, and so getting them in hand is definitely a special feeling. In terms of the shoe itself, you have this design that it's inspired by the Japanese rising sun. You have this really nice combination of white leather on the upper mixed with this reptile material that wraps around the bottom of the shoe. You've got this polyurethane white portion of the midsole and then this rubberized outsole, complete with what I think is honestly one of the best, if not the best, outsoles in all of the Jordan lineup. It's kind of funny that one of the best features of this shoe is the feature that you cannot see when you have them on foot. Other touches include the Jumpman on the back of the heel tab, complemented with the writing of Jordan down the spine, featuring the phrase quality inspired by the greatest player ever. You have the 23 on the bottom. The tongue also features this really nice leather where you have the Jumpman logo on the top, followed by the 2-3 running down the tongue. You've got these metal aglets here which act as lace holes in the upper portion of the sneaker, and you've also got the little cheeky Jumpman on the toe that kind of is visible from the front. It's a really elegant shoe. I can remember reading or seeing somewhere that part of the inspiration from the shoe was like a leather boot, and they do have kind of a boot aesthetic to them. I feel like that boot aesthetic is probably one of the reasons that puts people off these. I'm pleased to say that I have a couple of versions of the Air Jordan 12 that we can compare this latest version to. First and foremost, the black and red, aka the flu games from 2016. In terms of the shape, they match up pretty closely. You can actually see that the outsoles are pretty much identical, save the different shade of carbon fiber. The quality comparison is pretty close. I would even go as far as to say that the Cherry 12s have, actually the leather is a little bit better. It's a little bit softer and more supple on the 2016. Scratch that. I also have a couple of pairs of original 12s from 97. I have the playoffs from 97. I also have these, the Obsidians, and it can't be denied the shape on the originals, in my opinion, is a little bit better, although I'm sure that's not going to surprise anybody. The quality on the leather is also, in my opinion, a little bit better on the originals. The crocodile or iguana is a little bit softer and more supple, although I might put that down to these being the better part of 30 years old at this point. All in all, the shape is really good, pretty consistent with the older models, and the quality is decent. In terms of QC, there aren't any flagrant issues, no big glaring glue marks. The shoe looks like it's been well put together. The stitching is good. It's a nice shoe in hand. In terms of the fit and the feel, I honestly feel like the Jordan 12 is a slept-on model for comfort. They are a little bit heavy, but to be honest, they're not a lot heavier than the Jordan 11s. It was the first Jordan to feature the Zoom Air, and once you've got them on and you've fastened them up, they are really comfy. In terms of the fit, you can easily go true to size with these. In fact, some of you out there might even like to try a half size down with 12s. I got my true to size US 10.5 and found them to be comfy, just a little bit of room and give in the toe area, which is actually something that I really like. Because they've got this carbon fiber foot shank, they have this really solid, rigid feel, but because of the nice comfy insole, they don't ride too firm. You also get a bit of cushioning from the Zoom Air, and they also have this really awesome traction pattern, making them really grippy and pretty solid to play ball in. I can remember hooping in 12s back in the day and found them to be really good for balling in. All in all, comfort-wise and style-wise on foot, it's a W shoe. In terms of the resale and the availability and stuff like that, I think for you guys over there in the US, these are still sitting on the sneakers app, which is kind of understandable given the price point. These were 190 pounds, which is something like 210 odd dollars or something before tax. So they do run a pretty penny, but if you did want to get your hands on them, they're pretty easy to come by over there in the US. And if you're over here in the UK, these are sitting on a number of different retail sites. So these aren't hard to come by for retail. I'm not sure if I could see these lasting the season and going on sale, particularly not in the more popular sizes. All in all, I'm really stoked with them. It's one of those shoes that has raked up a whole bunch of nostalgia for me. Watching Mike ball out on TV in 1997, taping the games on VCR only to watch them back again, watching him win his 5th championship, watching him score his 25,000th point wearing the cherries, and seeing as I didn't pick them up last time they retroed back in 09 or whatever, it was a shoe that I just had to cop, and after getting them in hands, I'm pretty stoked. I can't wait to rock them. Really delighted to add them to the collection, as you can see from my smitten expression. And if you're into your OG Jordans, these are a absolute no-brainer. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the video. Let me know what you thought of the review down in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care for now, and peace.